And there is breaking news coming in. 3 people, including a soldier, have been killed following a fierce encounter between security forces and terrorists in Khudwani area of Kulgam district in South Kashmir. The encounter started today morning after security forces received a tip-off about the presence of terrorists in the area. 2 of the dead are civilians. 3 security forces personnel are also injured in the encounter. 3 terrorists are reported to be holed up in the area cordoned off by the security forces. As the encounter began, the mobs started pelting security forces with stones in an attempt to make the terrorists escape from the encounter site. Later, a clash ensued between forces and the stone-pelting mobs. Additional companies of the troops have been dispatched to the encounter site to oversee law and order situation. This is the latest news that we are getting on the Kulgam encounter. And to give us more update on this news story, I am joined in by our correspondent Khalid Shah, who's joining us live from Kashmir. Let's quickly go across to Khalid. Khalid, what is the latest that you can bring us on this story? Because I believe as we speak, the encounter is still on.
Well, as per the latest reports, there are intense clashes going on between the civilians and the security forces at the encounter site in Kulgam district of South Kashmir. Around 400 to 500 people are trying to pelt stones on the security forces to make sure that the militants escape from the encounter site. The encounter began very early in the morning today at around 2 a.m. in the night, when security forces cordoned off a house where they had information of 2 to 3 militants who were trapped out there. And after the cordon and search operation was launched, the contact was established with the militants and the gunfight was raging. Early in the morning, the civilians came out pelting stones on the security forces, in which 2 civilians so far have been killed. Also, the gunfight is still on. Intermittent firing is going on from both sides. Added deployment of security forces, the Central Reserve Police Force of India has been brought in to kind of deal with the law and order situation. And we are also getting reports of 1 soldier of Indian Army being killed in this particular encounter. 2 more soldiers are believed to be injured in the encounter. So far, the gunfight is raging on. To mention out here is that the security forces had charted out a new plan to really go for counter-offensives and hold the encounters at late in the night so that there are no civilian clashes as such. But this encounter really stretched a little far, and now it's still going on in the daytime.
Right.
And that's why we are seeing these civilian clashes, and in a sense it is becoming difficult for the security forces to really operate in that area.
Right. You just mentioned that it's becoming very tricky and difficult for the security forces. But what are the precautionary measures they are taking? Because, we believe that the stone pelters have also, are actually helping out the terrorists who've been holed up.
Well, yes, definitely. Whenever there is a encounter that happens in the daytime, the civilians really come out and pelt stones on the security forces, which makes the operations very difficult, because on one side there is a gunfight going on, and on the other they have to deal with the law and order situation. And that's why there was indeed a plan which was put forth by the security forces to hold all these encounters late in the night. But it looks like that sometimes these encounters get prolonged and they kind of don't end in the darkness, and that's why we see these clashes coming up. Time and again, the security forces have requested and pleaded the civilians to be away from the encounter sites, saying that it's very difficult and tricky for the security forces to deal with them. But the provocations that have been coming have really made civilians go to these encounter sites and try and make the militants escape.
Absolutely, Khalid. This encounter comes on the heels of the most violent days in strife-torn Kashmir, after 12 militants were killed last week. Thank you so much, Khalid, for bringing us that quick update on this encounter.